When it comes to success at Manchester United, Ruben Amorim has zero chance of it working unless he's got 100% buy-in from all of his players. It's why Marcus Rashford is now on loan to Aston Villa. This comment from Jadon Sancho on Rashford's Instagram post after that debut. This right here, this is the culture that Amorim is fighting to change. And I tell you what, the lack of professionalism and self-awareness is on another level altogether. For so many years now at Manchester United, it feels like managers have been swimming upstream against the players a lot of the time. And Jadon Sancho, my word. The example that Sancho is setting is an example for every other football player not to follow at Man United. The self-awareness is about minus 9,000 from him. I want to run through what he said and how it's just the perfect microcosm for the culture that Amorim, and not just Amorim, every manager post-Fergie has been sort of battling with. I want to run through and speak about it because it's just... I've already said so many times at the start of the video there, like, unless Amorim's got 100% buy-in, every single one of his players, I've got the same ambitions and the same drive as you, and we're all in this together. Unless he's got that, he won't succeed at the club. And of course, you saw the difference in reaction from dropping Garnacho and Rashford in that game against City and what's happened since. Now, Rashford's gone to Villa. Played all right on his debut for Villa. You won't hear any sort of snide remarks from Rashford at any point. Do I think he'll go on to be successful there? I think he probably will. Do I think he'll move there permanently? I think he'd rather go abroad. But anyway, after the game, goes on Instagram. And Jadon Sancho knows exactly what he's doing here, all right? Dropping that little comment there. Freedom. Freedom! Finally, we've been unshackled from the chains that is Manchester United. Finally, we can be the incredible footballers we are. Give over, mate. This is just... Yeah, you could technically just ignore this, right? You could be like, don't worry about it, Sam. It's just him being a child. A child. And this is as I said, the perfect microcosm of how unprofessional some of these Manchester United players have been for so long. This is a Jadon Sancho who hasn't got, an assist at Chelsea since the 4th of January. The self-awareness of this bloke, who is still, by the way, employed by Manchester United and still paid by Manchester United. What I would say is, thank God we got an obligation in there for Chelsea to buy Sancho. Because I very much doubt they would either. They would not want to. And it's just... Sancho is the perfect example of this attitude and approach that it's almost like Manchester United owe him for the fact that he's a United player. We're doing him a favour for the fact that he has chosen to come to play for us. And we should be appreciative of that because we've got Jadon Sancho. This is a player who, like Rashford, like so many other players before him, had his approach in training questioned. This is a player who called his manager a liar in public. This is a player who refused to back down and refused to apologise. This is a player who, when he was a teenager at City, wasn't involved in the pre-season tour and then refused to turn up for training. This is a player who returned late to training at Dortmund and then said he was being scapegoated. This is a player whose Dortmund assistant coach, I think, had to knock on the hotel room to get him to turn up to training on time. And this is a player who Manchester United signed. That attitude, that approach existed in our dressing room and has existed in the fibres of our football club for so long. With the growth of player power post-Fergie, there are so many of these United players that feel not that they are bigger than the club, but that they shouldn't feel privileged to be in the position they are in. Every Premier League football player should feel privileged. They're all in the top 1%. But instead, it's almost like any time Sancho pulled on a United shirt, he was doing us a favour, really. And the lack of self-awareness is staggering. Absolutely staggering. And this is an attitude and an approach that Amorim is fighting to change. If you want to talk about changing the culture of Manchester United, that is a fundamental part of it. Getting these players to understand how much of a privileged position they are in. Because if they did that, and if every football player did that, it would be so simple, right? But if they just did that and they switched their mindset, the levels of performances would totally change. But because they feel comfortable, they feel no one's really going to do anything, I kind of do what I want. I kind of say what I want. I'm in control. That is what he's been fighting against. And Ruben Amorim here talking about how the FA Cup won't save United's season. He's kind of reiterated that on multiple occasions. And this is the way that we've won 6 out of the last 8 games. It's not good enough for him. Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford, both incredibly talented footballers. No one's ever questioned that. But Sancho acts like a spoilt child. Marcus Rashford, the goodness of time, I think we'll find out more about what happened behind the scenes. And maybe just, I don't know what it would be. But Marcus Rashford, he didn't have the fight to stay on at United, and his head was gone, and he left. But you're never going to see Rashford doing any sort of shit like that. That's how much contempt Sancho has got for this football club. That's how much disrespect he's got for the football club. He does not give a toss. And Chelsea, he doesn't give a toss about you. And any other club that he plays for in the future, he will not give a toss about you. All about him. Me. And that attitude absolutely stinks. And you cannot build teams around that. Every team has got individuals, right? Every team has egos. But the ego there is so unwarranted to feel like you're in a position to say or do that. Staggering. Really is staggering. And that, ladies and gents, is the hardest thing about changing the culture of this football club. Replacing attitudes like that with players like Dorgu, with players like Kenda, sorry. I've been told it's Kenda, not Quenda, in the summer. You have to surround that dressing room or fill that dressing room with the right attitudes, because that is the perfect prime example of how badly United have got it wrong when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to attitude for a long time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Am I overreacting? It's not an overreacting thing. It's the perfect microcosm of everything that man is trying to change at our club. And what other managers before have tried to change as well, but they haven't been successful.